Sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health, heard every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Today, well, on this Monday version of the show, bright and sunshiny as it is outside, we're going to open them up for you today. Of course, I have always new information to bring to you. Today, well, we've already had so many discussions about cardiovascular risk factors and the like, and we talk so much about cholesterol, but wouldn't you know, medical science has moved on, and we got a new concept to talk about. What's the size of the LDL? I don't want to get too complicated right now, but you are very educated listeners, and you already know more, well, way more than I think your doctors ever wanted you to know. We're going to bring another concept to you today to make you even more knowledgeable and more dangerous. Well, not more dangerous to you. You are going to do just fine. People that want to talk to you, however, are going to get a little confused. We'll clear all that up today when we talk about that, and we'll get to that right after that first break. Always allowing you, of course, today, as well as any day, to set the agenda around here. 412-825-6262 is the number to do that. Anything on your mind is okay with me. We're going to be talking about, well, whatever turns out to be on your mind. And you've had enough homework assignments, have you not? And we'll get to some of those assignments in just a moment. So, 412-825-6262. Let's do a little book work here and see some of the things I've got here on my... Oh, one thing I want to make sure. We've got number of copies of Deborah Ray's book. We're dying to give them away. Make sure, I mean, if you want a free copy mailed to you, you're going to have to send us a self-addressed stamp envelope to do that. We'll do it for you. Be happy to do it for you, and or you can stop by and just pick up a copy right here at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, just a little bit south of South Hills Village, folks, and come on, stop in and see us. Give us a call before you come, and we'll help steer you in a little better as you get closer to us. Our number here is 724-942-3002. The book called Harmony. We had Deborah Ray on our show 1 week ago, talking to us about the collaborative effort that she put together with two medical doctors. One, John Young, the other, Aida Reyes. And, of course, Deborah Ray's right up there, too. The three of them put this neat little book together and dying to share it with you. Of course, it all centers around something that you heard first here and first brought to you by none other than Deborah Ray a number of months ago. That product has become a very well-known and famous product and very difficult to find. Never difficult to find here. It's called Fruit of the Spirit. And you hear many spots on our radio show given to us by Deborah Ray, who has continued to put the full force of her reputation behind it, and we're so happy to be able to be part of that Fruit of the Spirit family. The number, once again, if you're interested in that 14 biblical fruit puree, see if I've got all these components here: alkalinized minerals from the Dead Sea, frankincense, myrrh, resveratrol. All these go together, and what a great tasting product to start your day with. 1 ounce is equivalent to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in terms of its ORAC value. the phone number, and you'll hear it many times throughout the morning as we cut to break, and you hear Deborah. That'll be 1-800-442-3793, 1-800-442-3793. Also, too, you can go to the website at fruitspirit.net. That's fruitspirit.net. And you can order it there. Let's see, what else? Well, certainly on Friday. Look, I don't know if you did your homework, but I gave you a lot that you could do. Had to do with your thyroid. We went through a long list of symptoms. I said after going through some almost 25 different symptoms, if you had 3 of them, you should raise an eyebrow. If you had 4 or 5, you need to raise both eyebrows. And if you had more than 5, forget about raising eyebrows. You need to do something about it. And it all had to do with hypothyroidism. And I gave you that long list of the clinical symptoms that are associated with the disease. I find so many patients who come in to see me, especially female patients, very much confused about, well, a big one, how about fatigue, how about weight gain, how about constipation, and the list goes on and on and on, and I won't go through the entire list again, but having done the little check marks as we went through our little discussion on Friday, I said that many of you should take the next step. Well, did you this weekend? Which was to get your basal body temperatures, finding out what that body temperature of yours happens to be upon arising in the morning before your feet ever hit the floor, reaching over and grabbing a thermometer, whatever kind you have. I know that it's so difficult to have mercury shakedown thermometers anymore. If you have one, as I mentioned on Friday, you're totally illegal. Those have been outlawed. You have a relic. It's a very safe relic. Don't worry about it. But nonetheless, all mercury-related items have been removed, certainly from hospitals. You won't find any shakedown thermometers in the hospitals at all anymore and things like that. But you will find them throughout and about scattered within homes, because once you had one of those, they're literally good forever. So use it if you have one of those newfangled gadgets where you literally can shoot a gun and have it pick up a temperature within the ear, within the confines of the mouth. Those are also adequate too, but we're looking for your basal body temperature. What is the temperature upon arising in the morning before you move out of bed? That's a critical temperature. It does set the mark for an engine that should be on idle, but really be idling well. And if your engine's not idling well, you're going to find that your basal body temperatures are much lower than they need to be. So how did you do, folks? Why don't you give us a call? If you already know about those basal body temperatures, and many of you do, because I see you when you come in to see me, and when I bring up the issue of temperature, you go, oh, well, I measured mine a number of years ago, and my goodness, I was really low. I was in the 96s and so on, and then for some reason it just got forgotten. That's a key sign. It can't be forgotten. It has to be worked with, has to be developed, has to be improved, and of course, by correcting the thyroid, it will and should and could, and optimally as it is, you'll feel better too. So, how'd you do with that homework assignment? Also, too, been talking an awful lot about vitamin D. 2 weeks ago, brought to you the unique component about it that makes it a wonderful ACE inhibitor, which is angiotensin converting enzyme, another big medical word, but you just need to know it's a category of blood pressure medicines whereby vitamin D is the perfect representative of it, and in a natural way can control blood pressure once your vitamin D is in the optimal level. Thing is, you got to know where you start. You're going to get that level. It's got to be the 25-OHD3. That's the one that is the one that you need to be asking for. So, what is on your mind today? Give us a call, 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. You can set the agenda today. Anything on your mind is okay with me. You can comment about the vitamin D issue, comment about thyroid. Plenty of you out there are suffering from it. How did you do with the symptom list last Friday. How'd you do with the basal body temperatures over the weekend? Inquiring minds want to know. And of course, we're going to get on to the more of the cholesterol story this morning, making you more educated than anybody ever wanted you to be, except you, of course. You appreciate it, and I appreciate bringing it to you. So let's just take a short break. When we come back, we'll see if anybody wants to knock on the door out there in radio land. How about in cyberspace? Those of you who happen to be watching us and listening to us over the internet may want to give us a call. Danville. Oh, geez, I wonder how Danville's doing. You may give us a call in the interim, too. So let's take a short break. Be back in a moment. More on AM Impact on Your Health.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? What's the big top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith. Let Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you on this Monday. Really bright outside today, it's just gorgeous out there. I understand today should be so too. And excited to be with you as I am to kick off every week. You're off a good weekend. A little wet, a little muggy maybe, and especially on Saturday, but move on today. We've opened them up to you today. I'm bringing you some new my goodness, all the new information I enjoy bringing to you. And you get ready for that too. We've said also that we're going to allow you to set the agenda today, giving us a call at 412-825-6262. And in the interim, I do hear a knock on the door. Why don't you come on in the store? Hello and welcome aboard. Hello.
Hey, good morning,
Oh,
Doug.
it's Danville. You were watching at the time, huh?
Yeah, I was. You look great. You look great.
Ah.
How much weight have you lost total now?
Okay, well, truth be known, I can tally this up. I'm going to say 40 pounds.
Yeah, see, I actually went down to 141, and I'm 5'4", which was a little too little. I'm about 153 right now, but I lost too much, and I started getting shaky.
Well, then put some back on. I will say this. I don't think anybody should lose weight in the fashion that I did. Let's just say that was
your gallbladder too.
Yeah, that was an entire episode, an epic of about 5 months of even longer. But Okay, it's now worked itself through. You can tell. You're looking at me, Danville, so you're reporting to everybody.
Right now I'm in my car. I talked to a buddy of mine who I talked to in one of the chat rooms. Well, he's a buddy, but he's had 3 heart attacks, and he's in Sydney, Australia. And I told him to listen to the show with the Renegade, Dr. James Roberts, and he said that his doc said he can't take anything like nattokinase or Lumbro or he's on something called Verapamil or Verapamil or.
Yeah, Verapamil is a calcium channel blocker used for extremely accelerated and rapid heartbeats. But that's a drug, and I'm not saying that he doesn't need it because sometimes drugs are needed. But however, you call. Hey, that's interesting. You called Dr. Roberts the Renegade, huh?
Well, I think you called him that.
Oh, I could very well. I think we're all a bunch of renegades. At least our colleagues would think that of us. Nonetheless, he is one heck of a bright light. In his book, Reverse Heart Disease Now, I recommend everyone who listens to this show. I use it as a reference book. Heck, I've often said I could have helped write that book with Dr. Roberts. Then it wouldn't have sold any copies because, of course, he's a cardiologist. I'm not. But nonetheless, he's a renegade.
What I did is I'm gonna send him a little list. He said he'll check out the vitamin store, but I don't see how vitamin E or Natto or Lumbro would in any way hurt his situation. I don't, or fish oil. I couldn't see how that would hurt him.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Yeah, Who's that kicking up a fuss? Somebody in the car is kicking up a fuss there, Danville.
I'm waiting for them, I got so many. It's like here.
Look, Danville, why don't you go ahead? Keep your mind on the road. Get these kids to school. Thanks for calling us today. Go back home and listen.
Doc, have a good one.
Right. All right. Danville was having a minor discussion with the rest of the family. Okay. Well, Danville has checked in. Hey, you want to check into 412-825-6262, 412-825-6262. Of course, anything on your mind is okay with me. Now, let me introduce a new concept for today. I always enjoy doing it, and there's always a new one around. If the thyroid and the ACE inhibition of vitamin D wasn't enough, we're always ready for an encore performance. And, of course, when it comes to the cardiovascular, I've always had a inclination to move toward it. I've worked with it so long. You always seem to respond and enjoy the discussion, and so let's re-educate you. Well, let's educate you on something. I think it's a completely new concept. Of course, you're getting scary already to your doctor, who, when you have a discussion with, already knows something's going on with you. You talk funny. Well, you don't talk funny to him. You just talk scary to him because you're using big words and asking big questions for which to raise the question usually causes the eyebrows to be raised of your doctor. His dander may get up a bit, saying, as I think I hear many times from my patients, where in the heck did you learn that? Well, medical science has been the contributor for so much of what I'm able to bring to you, and now it once again has moved on. And interestingly enough, every bit of what I'll now tell you is coming smack dab out of the most recent research available in the medical world, in the medical scientific world, and this information has been laid on the doorstep of every one of your doctors, and I'm sure he or she knows about it, but you'll never hear about it. And now this has to do with the concept of the LDL. LDL. So we've talked many times about the lipid panel, the lipid profile. And essentially 4 components to it: the cholesterol level, the triglyceride level, the HDL, and the LDL. And I say again that it's the big one. It's the one that the entire medical profession has literally bet the ranch on in terms of all the emphasis, all of the excitement, all of the discussion centers around a discussion of your lipid profile. it really how do I put this? Well, I think the doctor feels good when he sees that your lipid profile gives him a way to try to approach and help you. For instance, what if you had an extremely elevated cholesterol level? Well, he would feel very good about prescribing statin drugs to you because he knows that elevated cholesterol, and in my opinion, probably hasn't arisen to a level of real concern, but nonetheless, he sees a place where he can be helpful, and therefore he utilizes his statin drugs. Also, too, when it comes to LDL, he also looks for an elevation in LDL level. Normal levels, they say, are between 0 and 99, and whenever the level of LDL is sufficiently higher, his training teaches him that he should want to lower that, and he'll also reach for the statin drugs. Now, the problem becomes whenever the lipid panel comes back from the blood test, because it's standardly run, it is the key element of the lab work that's going to be done each and every time you ever go to your doctor. I said, everybody out there already knows their cholesterol level. I could stop you in the line at Giant Eagle, and you could tell me, for the most part, to the person what your last cholesterol reading is, because you wear it like a badge of honor, because it always seems to be what the discussion turns to when you're with your doctor. So, what happens when all that comes back and it's completely normal? I mean, the cholesterol is normal. Let's just throw out some numbers. Let's say, how about a cholesterol of a 190? How about triglycerides of 40? How about this? How about an HDL of 80? I mean, that's really good. That's very difficult to find a number of people that have HDL, which is your good cholesterol level of 80, and an LDL level of 85. Now, I have described an excellent panel, a lipid panel, which whenever your doctor is going through and taking a look at the lab values, if you were able to see a lipid panel such as that, it becomes very frustrating for the doctor, I think. And the reason I say that is, when you look at that stuff, he has to say to himself, well, geez, there's nothing I can do here. I mean, this lab work, this is like fantastic lab work, yet, and this can happen, and I will tell you, frequently does happen, the poor patient sitting in front of him may have already had 1 or 2 heart attacks, may have had, and it can happen, bypass surgery, may be having even angina, and could have a completely, and I do mean a completely, if not even an exemplary lipid panel. These are the frustrating moments in the world of a physician who is confined to utilizing those labs as the panacea, as the know-all and tell-all of what's going on in there, meaning in the internal environment of his patient. Now, we're introducing another concept today to shake it up a little more. We're going to devote a little bit of time to the discussion of LDL, which is low-density lipoprotein. It is known also as the bad cholesterol. I think that is pretty much understood by the lay person community, certainly by all the listeners to the show. So what about LDL? Well, the new wrinkle. Once again, I didn't invent this new wrinkle. Medical science has invented a new wrinkle, because they went to explore and knew LDL was bad. They knew it was the bad cholesterol, and they needed to know more about it. Well, boy, did they find out some more about this thing called LDL. In fact, what they found out is that there are a number of LDL fractions, that the LDL level is actually comprised of 6 different components. When you add them all together, they equal the LDL number, but each and every one of those fractions has its own role to play in disease and in the promotion of health. The new concept that I'm going to bring to you today, and one that I would really be interested in hearing if it has come up with your doctor, is the concept of the size. What's the size of your LDL? That's what this new laboratory information that's now available attempts to explore. The size of the LDL. Because there's large particle LDL, there's medium size, there's mid-size, there's small LDL. And the new concern that should be weighing in with all of you as I am bringing this concept to you today is what's the amount, what's the quantity of your small LDL? Because as it turns out, that's the culprit. So LDL is redefined. LDL is not just a matter of the big number, the one that gets reported on that lipid panel. You know, is the cholesterol, triglyceride, HDL, and LDL, the one that your doctor orders every single time you go to see him or her. And if there's some place to work in there, you've been worked. You're on a statin drug. Certainly been recommended to go on the drug. The problem becomes whenever there's no place to work. There's nothing to do. Because your lipid panel maybe, as I described the hypothetical lipid panel of a moment ago, it may be in such great shape that the doctor is very confused looking at a patient with what could be, and unfortunately all too frequently can and is, a pretty significant cardiovascular history. What does he do? Well, I don't know what he does, but I know it's confusing for him if that's all the information he has. Well, now we have more information to act on. First question is, does he order that lab already? It is my guess. In terms of the fractions of LDL, this new level, really only available in the last 6 to 8 months. Medical science made it available. It is orderable. We do get these on every single patient that we see here, and we have been doing so. This is just the first time I've brought the whole concept of what's the size of your LDL to you so that you have another thing to become aware of. But you've handled everything else well. Why not this? Because if you have an elevation in the quantity of your small LDL, that is a problem. And the reason it's a problem is that not only is it oxidizable, which was the problem with LDL to begin with, and all the fractions of LDL are oxidizable. This one, because of its size, is able to work itself through the membrane in the small spaces that sometimes exists in the membrane and gain access not only to the membrane but to the cell itself, where then it can oxidize, and that's extremely critical because that will cause cell damage and cell death, which is not a good thing. So what's the size of your LDL now becomes extremely important. If you don't know it at all, especially if you have those set of numbers that I was describing as we first started our discussion, the good-looking lipid profile that already has confounded the doctor because he looks at a patient who, cardiovascular at least, has a pretty significant cardiovascular history, and he's wondering how to help. I think that's very frustrating for your doctor if all he is doing is checking for your standard lipid profile. Now we got a new wrinkle. Besides those, if you remember those 8 blood tests, well, this is probably the 9th. I always said to patients as they sat in front of me, as it stands today, there are 8 blood tests that you absolutely need to know the values from in order to be able to make the corrections necessary to improve your cardiovascular situation and turn off inflammation. Well, I think we found the 9th. And for this moment, it's the first time I ever put it that way. Yes, there are now there is a 9th test, which is the breakdown of the fractions of your LDL, looking to determine what is the quantity of small LDL. Turns out that is a big, big issue, and you need to know what it is in order to make certain that you've covered it. And now, when you bring that concept, if you're going to take that to your doctor, I want to be a fly, and you've heard me say this before, I want to be a fly on the wall when you introduce the new lab test, added to the other 8 lab tests, which is the quantity of the LDL fractions. There's 6 of them, but of the 6, it is the small LDL, the one that you really need to know the parameter for. Not because I say so, but because medical science says so. And thank God we have medical science that keeps marching on. And once again, I think I already know the answer to this one. So, is it envisionable that this will be the next new lab test that's ordered by your doctor? Because medical science has brought it to them. Medical science has moved on, and in the wake of what they've learned, they keep supplying all of us out here with information with which to act. Is there going to be a shake-up within the medical community to help reorient how they feel that they can help you? And unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be, because the true answer to the question of why the lab test, I don't think is going to be ordered, is, as it stands right now, there is no medicine that can actually change the course of events with the size factor of LDL. There are none. So what do we do? Well, that's what we're going to talk about when we get back. What do you do when you know what the small LDL is, and it is an elevated level, and so how do you correct it? Well, you folks will have a way to do so, and we'll talk about it in just a moment. Hey, you can also weigh in too. Let's take a short break. Yeah, I introduced a new concept today. You're ready for it. We now have a 9th blood test to get. What's the size of your LDL? Be back in a moment to talk about it with you.
Want to help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural, whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to AM Impact on Your Health here in this beautiful, I keep saying beautiful Monday morning because it is gorgeous outside. We're here today and bringing you new information. We'll get back to that in just a moment. But, of course, always asking you to, hey, what's on your mind? Did I trigger some thought out there with respect to the size of the LDL? We'll be talking about it a little more in just a second. Any question, however, doesn't have to deal with lipid profiles. You always bear up very well under this new scientific information, and your thirst for information and knowledge is never-ending and never able to be quenched, which is really enjoyable to deal with. A listening audience as educated as you are, but you may have other designs, things going on in your life, going on in your family, that you may want to discuss. The number to do that, 412-825-6262, 412-825-6262. You may want to make an appointment to come on in to see us so we can talk about those issues together privately. You may want to call and make that appointment today. If you do, number is 724-942-3002. Then we can talk about your issues one-on-one if you'd like. If you'd like to get a little preliminary going, you can feel free to give us a call here, as the number is 412-825-6262. So, the ninth test, the new one, the one that I think, and now I'll have to make a new statement, which is, okay, now there are 9. I don't know when, because I've made this statement, when there'll be another one, a 10th, but medical science will march on, and I'm going to say there's going to be a 10th one, just to have no idea where it will come, when it will come, but when it does arrive, I'll be the first to bring it to you. But what about this 9th one here? What about this thing about the size of your LDL? It was never really ever reported that way before. These fractions, I don't know how long it's been possible to be able to identify the various subfractions of LDL, but it's certainly available now. And then the research indicating the real harm that comes from this very small size LDL, having the ability to work itself into the cell from small openings and small spaces that exist at the level of the cell membrane, is what makes it so difficult and so problematic when it comes to when it finally oxidizes. It will have the damage done by the small LDL is just disproportionate to all the other fractions, so much so that it's why it occupies a special place. So what do you do about it? Well, first of all, you got to know it, and if you don't have the genetic component that allows you to hold on to significant quantities of the small size LDL, well then you would want to know about that. And then it's possible to know it because this isn't how your lab report comes back on a certain day and that it changes so much from day to day or month to month. No. If you have a genetic proclivity to hang on to high quantities or manufacture high quality of small LDL, then that's your genetic component working itself and manifesting itself. And so you want to know if you are one of these folks, because it's something you're going to have to deal with in the long haul. And you'd also want to know if you didn't have to worry about the small LDL component. Now, this whole concept is going to be, I think, ignored by the conventional medical community because they don't have anything to deal with size. They don't have anything to deal with LDL, they think, other than just lowering it. And in a way, if they lowered the overall LDL level, you'd have to say it would be beneficial and be helpful. However, it's still oxidizable. And so let's get to the first thing that one would need to do in order to control any problem with LDL, and that is to make certain that a high enough quantity of antioxidants were on board. And it's by utilizing this high amount of antioxidant that you're going to prevent the oxidation of LDL to oxidized LDL. Remember, I've always said that the LDL by itself is not harmful. It's not bad to you. It won't hurt you. But if it is allowed to oxidize, it will be devastating to you. Now, this new concept of a size of LDL particle that's able to work its way right in through the membrane itself. And now if it were to oxidize, you can see where the devastation would be. It would be considerably greater than it would be to having that oxidation occurring on the outside of the cell. So the number one approach has never changed. So in a way, we were always dealing with small LDL, not allowing it to oxidize. I think it was even the conventional medical community, you'd have to say, through the use of their statin drugs, by lowering the number, was having an impact on LDL, even though there was a consequence to pay by using those statin drugs. So there now becomes an additional issue with respect to size and additional supplemental, I say supplements, there are no drugs. That's the problem in the conventional medical world. As they see it, as you should see it, is boy, you better hope they don't come out with a whole bunch of drugs to deal with this, because you're going to need a wheelbarrow to get out of your doctor's offices. But with respect to small LDL, two additional supplements. One, you're already taking, you may already be taking both, but there is enough reference in the literature. And so what I'm doing is I'm saying to you, there already is scientific evidence to show that fish oils, which I'm hoping you're taking quite a bit of, should be taken 1 to 2 grams per day. That would be the standard amount. And now combined with what turns out to be a age-old favorite, and I emphasize the word aged because aged garlic extract, that Kyolic, is, and that would be the brand of choice. Okay, aged garlic extract, but 1,200 milligrams BID, which actually, by virtue of acting on the small LDL, increases the size of the LDL. How it does so, I don't think I can explain that right now, but by increasing the size of that LDL, it can't gain entrance into the cell. And so it is specific for treating patients who have a lab value showing that their small LDL is completely out of control because their genetics have made it so. And this could be in a person, by the way, and unfortunately I can see where it has to be the factor in a person that has the normal standard lipid profile. The cholesterol is normal. The triglycerides are normal. The HDL is normal. And the LDL itself is normal. But the fraction of LDL that is small size can be completely abnormal and cause devastation, giving the false impression that everything's okay, we're doing fine, when in fact that patient isn't doing fine, when in fact that patient may have a significant cardiac history already, and the doctors are, without knowing that small LDL is playing a role here, are a little confused. And to get unconfused right away, all you'd have to do was run that fractions as the 9th lab test, and then you would know. And so now you know, and what you do about it, well, first of all, you have to have the labs to know, and I suggest you come on in to see us. You know, we do these routinely, and we have been doing it for a number of months. This just happens to be the first time I've brought it to your attention here on the air. The new 9th lab test is something I've got quite familiar with because it is done with all our patients without them having to ask. It just gets done. And so I suggest you consider come on and see us, get that first appointment out of the way. If it turns out that cardiovascular turns to be our emphasis, the very next step will be to do a complete cardiovascular workup. But within that, there will be a significant portion of this blood testing that's done, and within the context of that, these fractions of LDL will be obtained. This is where, if you're going to go with medical science, then go with it. And to be able to know that there is extremely harmful component to LDL, and to know where you stand with it, and to know how to deal with it if it's there, then not to know it's there at all turns out to be to your detriment, in my opinion. And we'll let it go at that for now. Hey, what's the size of your LDL? Well, if you're one of my patients, you already know, and if not, come on in to see us. Let's do this. We take a short break. We're going to open it up to you when we come back. Anything on your mind is okay with me. The number, of course, 412-825-6262, 412-825-6262. We will be back in a moment.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith? Let Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning and welcome back to AM Impact on Your Health, heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on this Monday version of the show, getting into some new stuff here today with you, allowing you to take charge, take control of your cardiovascular destiny, well, in your overall general health destiny. Which is why you do listen to this show and to this station and listen to the many contributors who bring you valuable information each and every day. We're opening up to you today. You may want to come in and with the remaining, and we're coming around into the gun lap. We're not in the home stretch yet, but we're in the gun lap portion of the show. Anything on your mind is okay with me. 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. Should mention, in keeping with the issue of LDL and oxidized and unoxidized, and I don't think it really ever brought this concept to you before, but it should do it now. And you may say, well, how do I know whether I'm oxidizing the LDL or not? Okay, if I have an elevated level, what would it be? How could we know in an easy fashion whether I'm oxidizing the LDL? Well, there, of course, is the assumption that if you have high quantities of LDL, you can just about assume that you are going to be oxidizing at a greater value. But you know what? You probably need a little more information than just the assumption. So how about this one? about this little trick? Because I think it'll really firm up some things that already make sense to you. And that would be, hey, how about checking the pH? Because it's been pretty well established that if you check your salivary pH, and if it's below 6.8, then you can assume that oxidized LDL is at play. If it's below 6.0, you even have to intervene with some pretty potent alkalinizing therapies because that is extremely acidic. Only could occur with oxidation well in play. And you have to intervene in the oxidation process more so than taking your daily quantity of vitamin C or the grapefruit extract or whatever other form of antioxidant that you wanted to be working with that you may be taking already on a daily basis. But by checking that pH, you're going to know how well you're doing with this oxidation concept. And it's just a way to, an additional way for you to take and use science, be objective, and to monitor, as well as to intervene, correct, and to know that you made the correction when the pH begins to turn around and switch. These are the ways that the person that we will find out may have an LDL issue and now may have a small LDL issue. These are the additional ways we're going to have to work with. So, 412-8250, but about 5 or 6 minutes left to go. Let's see what's on your mind at all, if at all, on any of this. By the way, talking about speakers, I'm really interested in this fella. Freedom of choice in cancer therapy. You're going to have the 100, what is this? Dr. Bernardo Lapallo. I know how to say that. It's a double L. Lapallo will be here in the month of June. Thursday, June 17th, he's going to be up. That is a Thursday. It is the third Thursday, and it's in the right spot. It's going to be at the Days Inn, Route 8, Butler, 7 o'clock. You'll want to hear this gentleman. We'll try to get him scheduled to have him on the show before he appears out there. I just think whenever he speaks, we should be sitting back and probably taking some notes, wouldn't you say, on his surpassing centenarians as a group are fascinating, but he's well surpassed that. And they say here that he turns 109 years of youth and wellness on August 17th. So I just happened to catch that. I know I'd mentioned it last week, and I'm mentioning it again. We're going to be turning that page on the month of May into the month of June, coming up here. Well, at the end of the week, as we go into the Memorial Day weekend. And see on that one. We want all of you out there, ladies especially, get to work on those basal body temperatures. You've got to take the little quiz we gave you on Friday and work with it. I gave you a list of some 20 to 25 different symptoms and said to you, look, you got 5 or more of these. This is seriously indicative of a thyroid issue. Go and confirm it by taking the basal body temperatures. You only need a few of them if you're postmenopausal. You'll need a little more of those temperatures if you're premenopausal, because ovulation, if it's to occur, there's a slight temperature spike at that point, and it sort of screws up the numbers. So you're going to have to take maybe double, 10, 12 different basal body temperature levels. But certainly you'll see the trend there. And with that trend, if you're in the high 97s to low 98s, it might not be thyroid, but if you're in the low 97s and the 96s, boy, that's a heck of a check for it, because you get thyroid issues. A knock on the door has occurred. Come on, the store. Hello, and welcome in. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
I just had a quick question. Can you explain how a woman who has either low thyroid and or perimenopausal or menopause can make your cholesterol rise?
Oh, there's a relationship between thyroid hormone low thyroid hormone, and elevations in cholesterol. I mean, the chemistry behind how that happens, I don't think I'm too qualified to just get into the biochemistry of how it happens. But you got to trust me on this, that high cholesterol level, and I think I had it on my list of the 20, maybe not, because that's a sign, that's not a symptom. But high cholesterol levels, as reported to me by patients, go hand in hand with low thyroid. So you don't question that it does. You're asking, how does it do that?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
The physiology, I guess.
I'll tell you what. Now, the biochemistry, I know where to go find that answer. I know I have read it. Why don't you let me go ahead and dig that answer out for you and bring it to you?
Just generally, you don't have to go into the scientifics, but just some general thing about why there's a correlation.
Yeah.
And then what about the person who's perimenopausal or menopause itself making the cholesterol go up?
Well, absolutely. The cardio, up until menopause, the female is virtually immune from cardiovascular risk factors, and before that, her male counterpart is very active. Now, with menopause, with the passage of menopause comes the loss of that immunity, and the cardiovascular risk factors kick in by virtue of inflammation. And that's when, if you have a issue of lipid problems, that's when they're going to begin, and that's when they're going to surface, and that's when they're going to finally be measurable, and you'll know that you're going to have to work on your risk factor just like your husband did for all those years up to that point.
So it's not necessarily the change in the woman's hormone levels that makes the cholesterol.
It is not.
It is not.
It is not.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, folks. Bongos in the background. Hope you had an enjoyable day today. I enjoyed bringing it to you. More on Wednesday. Well, whatever's on your mind on Wednesday. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AM Impact on Your Health.
Sponsored by Courtney.